Hi, I'm Steve Saylor, an accessibility consultant in the video game industry, and here is a menu deep dive of the settings menu for Dead Space. Now, I'm booting this up actually for the first time, but I did notice, because I was trying to get the menu set up beforehand, that there was actually some content and seizure warnings at the very beginning that I wanted to show in this so that you know what to expect. Here's the seizure warning, gives you all the information on that, which is really great. And here's something I wanted to be able to bring up, and that is the content warning with a QR code to be able to go to exactly, show you exactly what that content warning will be. That is very, very cool for EA to do that. I am very, very impressed that they were able to do that. We'll actually go into some of the content warning information in a minute, but I wanted to at least showcase that first instead of just going diving right into the menu. First off, the initial settings, we'd love to see it. We also love to see large font. More games need to do this, and I'm glad that Dead Space Remake is doing this. Hopefully that's throughout the entire game. We shall see. Menu narration. Love that. Let's see how this does.
Voice language. Menu narration. Voice language. Subtitles. On.
Okay. We got ourselves basically a menu narration. That is nice to be able to hear. I don't know how far that'll go into as far as what text will be read, but it could be just be basically menu narration taking you to the accessibility menu only. Some EA games have only been able to do that, so hoping there's a little bit more in this than previous, but it's good to be able to have that in there. Obviously, having a subtitles is great. Select difficulty. Okay, so we got story, easy, medium, hard, and impossible. So it doesn't look like it reads the description.
Story. Easy.
Okay, so it doesn't look like it just reads the specific option you can choose from. So it's sad that basically you can't be able to have that narrated, but understandable. Well, maybe not necessarily understandable, but yeah, it'd be nice to be able to have that. So I'm not going to go into this. I'll set it to easy just for myself because I'm going to be playing this later. We've got inverted camera, y-axis, show content warning. So this is going to be great. So according to the, I did look up the article. According to the article, you actually you can be, and I'll actually have a link to it down below. Thanks to Morgan Baker, the accessibility lead over at EA, for sending the link. By the way, it'll actually be able to let you know whenever there's a video or anything that's coming up that it doesn't spoil anything. It just gives you here's what to expect as far as specific content warning. So if there's anything that might trigger you, that it's going to display a warning just before anything like that happens. That is probably the most in-depth content warning that I ever seen in any game, and especially with a game like this where it's very horrific, having that in there is awesome. So we're going to jump into the more settings. So let's take a look at the controls. Control customization. So let's see. Okay. I wonder if can you be able to. Okay, so if I click on edit.
Move forward.
Oops.
Move forward. Move back.
Okay, I'm going to reset it to default. Reset all the default. I still like the fact that it's large text. This is very, very cool. I was hoping that maybe you could be able to do multiple inputs for each button, because it looks like there's enough space there. I wonder if this is specifically for maybe for the keyboard and mouse section. I'm wondering if that's the case, so that you can be able to have a multiple button inputs for both keyboard and mouse. I wonder if that's why this extra space on the right hand side is for that. But good to be able to have full remapping in there. Apply changes, yeah, fine. Controller layout. Okay, tells you basically what each button will do. Again, I love that there is large text for this. This is actually really nice. This is for everything. So looks like it's going to use pretty much every. Yeah, it looks like it's going to use every single button on the controller. Yeah. And then there's default, there's DS2. I wonder if this is, this is Dead Space 2 controls. So that's interesting. And then DS1. So it looks like you can set it to the original. We'll just set it to default because, yeah, why not? Control presets. Okay, you can be able to change that there too. You change stick sensitivity, trigger sensitivity, stick dead zone, trigger dead zone. I've actually been looking into this a little bit lately, only just because I started to use the DualSense Edge controller, and having the adjustments for the thumbsticks was kind of nice. I haven't played around with it on the Xbox yet, but I might be able to do that. Vibration strength, you can be able to change that. Camera Y-axis, inverted camera. Nice to be able to see. So it looks like there's a pretty solid level of controls here. So let's go into gameplay. Select difficulty, you can go with that. Single press quick time event. So this actually helps if any time that there is, when there's a quick time event, and more than likely there probably was. I've never played the original Dead Space, so I don't know if this had it originally, but any quick time that usually has like a multiple tap, like you have to rapidly tap a button, having to be able to just do a single press to be able to get it to work without having to push, like having to be able to multiply tap, that is really great. So I'm personally going to actually turn that to on. Sprint toggle mode, make the sprint toggle make the sprint input a toggle instead of a hold. I think I'm going to set that to, it's set to on automatically, but having that as a hold is also nice too. Aim toggle mode, make the aim input a toggle instead of a hold. I usually do hold myself, but I like the fact that that is there. It's kind of become standard in first-person shooter games, but that is a great accessibility option for sure. Log close mode. Okay, control how the video and audio logs interface is closed. The hold option will close an open log upon using hold. The tap option will close an open log open using it tap. Because the input is tied to the heal input, this input will heal the player if there are no logs currently open. That's a good clarification. Having that as the description there, that is great. So I think I'm going to have it as hold, but the fact that they took that into consideration with the toggle, and they still kept it in there anyway, instead of just, because normally you would see that in games and it would just like, if it changes another thing, well, we just won't use that feature. No, or we just want to add that feature in. So I'm glad that they were able to add that in here. Automatic weapon swapping. When the currently held weapon is completely out of ammunition, automatically swap to the next available weapon with ammunition. Sure, you're going to do that. Aim assistance. We're definitely to turn that on, and that activates a few other options here. Aim assist friction. Rotation speed of the camera is reduced when targeting laser is close to enemies. Sure, yeah, we'll see how that is. Also, aim assist magnetism. Camera will focus on the enemy while aiming at them. That's good. So basically, it just kind of, and then I guess, yes, you can be able to do aim assist magnetism duration. So this is great for blind low vision players, that anytime that the reticle is close to an enemy, it'll automatically lock on, and you can set that magnetism all the way. But also you can be able to customize it, that if you find that you're in a room with a lot of enemies and you're finding that the magnet is just is fighting against you, the fact you can be able to either turn it off or at least adjust the magnetism, it kind of moves that hitbox of when that reticle where that reticle needs to be close to the enemy in order to be able to lock on. It just makes it hitbox smaller, so that way it gives you a little bit more freedom of movement. So that is really cool to be able to have that there. I personally love it. Great for blind players, but also great for motor disabled players too. It has a lot of variety there, so love to see that. Great. I'm going to be using this a lot because I'm probably going to die a lot. This game is going to scare the crap out of me. All right, so we got gameplay. Let's do display and graphics. Brightness, you can be able to adjust that. I like it where it's a little bit brighter because dark games scare me, so we're going to set that there. Motion blur, we're going to turn that all the way off. But I like that you can be able to add a little bit in there. This actually, one of the rare times I've seen it where motion blur is just, instead of an on-off, it's actually a slider. So that's interesting. I wonder how it would look if it's sort of, if it's like maybe like at 20. I'm going to put it at 20 just to kind of see. Film grain, you can be able to turn that on or off. I usually kind of like to have it off, but you know, it's fine. Colorblind mode, like to see that there. We got a Protanopia, we got Deuteranopia, and we got Tritonopia, and I like that it shows at least the what the colors kind of look like. It'd be nice to be able to see everything being like kind of a preview of what all the colors are going to look like instead of just the menus offhand. But it's good to be able to have that there, and then also it having a colorblind contrast, so it actually can be able to lessen, or you're going to lessen it or increase the strength of it. So that's very good to see. So we're going to turn that off for now. Performance mode. Performance mode reduces resolution and visual quality to run at 60 frames per second. It's on by default. That's interesting. So I'm going to keep that actually on by default, just because. And let's take a look at audio. All right, we got main volume, music volume, dialogue volume, sound effects volume, and menu narration. Here's where you can be able to adjust the menu narration volume. That's awesome. So we're going to keep that at 75. Actually, I'm going to increase that a little bit more. So we're going to do that. Audio channels. So we're going to keep that stereo because that's basically what I'm currently using. Mono output mode, this is actually interesting. So what mono output does is, for those who are deaf and hard of hearing, oftentimes not everyone can be able to, like, deaf and hard of hearing, just like blindness, is that they're not like it's all like it's on or off. It's like not like you don't have any hearing and then or you do have hearing. There are often times where one ear is a little bit more a little bit more deaf than the other. So they're actually, you may have like full hearing on one ear, or or partial hearing in one ear. So having that mono output mode basically puts all the audio into both channels, or all channels, so that no matter what ear your dominant ear is, if you're deaf and hard of hearing, you'll be able to hear everything, instead of, just in case if there's anything that's happening on the right side, it doesn't matter. It definitely helps with that, trust me. So mono panning. Oh, you can. This is actually adds to it, so you can be able to, if you feel if you can only hear better on the left hand side than on the right hand side, you can be able to pan the mono audio to that side. That's great. That's actually a pretty good accessibility feature. Love to see it. Language and subtitles. So we got the voice language. You can be able to choose French, German, Spanish, Italian, Polish, simplified Chinese. We're going to go with English because that is my native language. Subtitles. The fact that it's on by default. Did I actually set it on by default? I think it was on by default. I did not check that earlier, but the fact that I think it is. Subtitle font size scaling. I love that they're showing this. So let's see what it looks like at full size. Wow. That's large. That is so large. I'm going to hide my camera for a second just so you can see it. This is an example of how subtitles will appear in the game. Love it. I love that. Awesome. I'm going to put it at, say... Subtitle cap. Oops.
69. 69.
Let's keep it 69. Nice. Subtitle capitalization. So this is actually pretty good. This actually can be pretty good for dyslexia, to be honest. Because if you prefer capitalization, or you just prefer the lowercase fonts, if you find that the lowercase fonts don't work for you, that is actually a pretty decent option that I don't see a lot in games, but love to see that there. So white on black or black on white. We love white on black. We're going to do subtitle background opacity. I can set that to 100%, but you can be able to set like the slider to whatever works best for you. So we're going to do that. We're going to do 100%, and we're going to do speaker name is on by default. Speaker name color, we're going to do that. By the way, I should mention as well that I'm just doing this right now. You can navigate the menus in both, like using the thumbstick or the D-pad, and you can actually be able to adjust the options with the D-pad as well. So that's by hitting left or right to be able to turn it on, like on or off, or switch between the different options. That's really cool. So love to see it. Great options for deaf and hard of hearing players, and or just anyone that loves subtitles. So do accessibility, menu narration, we've got that. Colorblind modes, we got that. Show content warning, we got that. Hide disturbing scenes, hide the most disturbing scenes behind the screen effect. Note that audio is not affected. Love the fact that you can be able to adjust that even further. Single press QuickTime events. So it looks like that a lot of the accessibility is in other menus, and this is an accessibility filter than necessarily a specific menu category on its own. That's great, because then that means that anybody that needs help and or wants to be able to adjust settings, they don't have to go to the accessibility. They don't, like, normally they wouldn't go to an accessibility menu because they may not think that they need it. But the fact that it looks like it's a filter and there's some specific items in this category menu, great to see. So then we also have a new one here, map zoom mode. Control of the zoom mode functions in the map. The hold option will require holding the zoom input to zoom. The toggle option will require tapping the zoom input once to start zooming and tapping again to exit zoom. So doing hold or toggle, good to know. Like, good to know. That's for actually that could be interesting. It's hold, but we're gonna do toggle. I like that. Let's see. Aim assistance. We got all that stuff.
Menu motion.
Menu motion. Toggle the floating. You can either lock the menu or make it move. That's not bad. I like that. That's cool. Show kinesis symbol, the HUD. Display the kinesis symbol on the HUD when aiming. Yep, that's fine. Show persistent dot. Display just persistent. Okay, this is good for those with cognitive disabilities that having, like, if there's any like motion sickness or whatever, or anyone that's actually prone to motion sickness, having a specific dot that they can focus on in the center of the screen can help with that. So having that there, I don't personally need it, but that is an option that is there. I love to see it. Subtitles, we can adjust that. Interesting though that it covers, the largest kind of covers up the menus. So you have to kind of like dig down deep into in order to be able to read the other menu items. But that's you know, it's fine. It's a UI thing. It works. I'm glad that at least they show a preview of it and what it will look like on screen. Not a lot of games do that in the menu system, so this is great to see. And then the last one, camera shake. The camera shakes when Isaac is injured when he fires his weapon. We're gonna turn that off. I don't personally like. That's great for motion sickness. I just personally just don't like camera shake in general because it's just my eyes already shake already. I don't need anything else on top of that. And then we got some policies and licenses. Basically, we don't necessarily need to really look into that. But if you are worried about privacy, you can be able to turn off usage sharing with anything for EA, and then you can be able to access the credits there. So it looks like that is the full settings menu of Dead Space Remake. I'm currently playing this on the Xbox Series X. I will be doing a full review, but it won't be coming up for at least as of the video when this video goes live. The review embargoes are already up for a lot of different sites. I'm going to be holding off in a couple of days to be able to do that because I haven't had a full chance to be able to get to play this fully yet. I've only just got this code shortly before the embargo, so I haven't had a lot of time to play with it. But it will be up very soon. If it's not already, I'll have a link up in the here or in the description down below of this video to check that out. All right, so that is it for this deep menu option. If you like this video, please give it a like. If you want to be able to see more videos like this, click the subscribe button. If you want to see more deep menu deep dives into games, let me know in the comments down below. All right, take care. I'm proud of you. As always, I remain obedient to yours. Bye.